Today on the galley, I have for you chorizo, buttermilk, creamed corn. I think you're going to love it. So the first thing that we're going to do is our chorizo. I've got my 12-inch cast iron. I've got it getting hot over here, and I'm going to start to brown that chorizo. And while the chorizo is browning, then we can start talking about the corn. So before we move on, let's talk about the difference in creamed corn versus cream corn. Now, creamed corn is a way to make corn that is thick and chopped up and creamy, but you don't add any cream to it. And the way to do that, and you would cut down your corn just about halfway down through the kernel, leaving the other half on. And then once you did that, you would come back and milk the cob, meaning run the back of your knife down it to release all those starches, or milk. Some people call it milking, and this is like milking the cob. Now, this is more difficult today than it used to be, and that is because the corn, this is not the same corn as the corn of my youth. This corn does not have the same amount of starch, so you don't get a lot of milk, if you will, from the corn of today. And then cream corn is just that, corn that's had some kind of cream added to it, or cream cheese. And today I'm kind of doing a combination of both. I am cutting the corn off my cob, but I'm cutting it all the way off. And then I am going ahead and just getting as much of that starch from my corn as possible. And for this recipe, you want 6 ears of corn cut from the cob. This is a really young corn here. It's kind of small. I talked to the farmer, and he was waiting on a field to come in, and he picked me a few ears so I could do this recipe for you, because this is the third time that I've tried to video this recipe, and much to Billy's delight, right, baby? Because he just loves it. And so I'm really hoping that this time does the trick. So 6 ears of corn, and you want them cut, and run your knife, the back of your knife down it to try to remove as much starch as you can. So now that you have your 6 ears of corn and you've got them removed from the cob, we're going into the food processor with this. And of course, I have to do mine in batches because of the size of my food processor. But we're going to process this corn, and we're going to process it with buttermilk. So this is kind of how we are combining both the creamed style and creamed corn together here. Now, when you buy creamed corn in a can from the store, it's kind of done like this, where it's just processed till it's broken up, but then they use cornstarch to thicken it. So for 6 ears of corn, you want 1 cup of buttermilk. And then we're just going to process this. Not till it's pureed. We just want it chopped up a bit. So you can see how it's just still kind of chunky, if you will. I'm going to give this one more little twirl. I keep losing my lid. Oh, there it is. And then it should be perfect. So we're going to continue to process this corn. And so it kind of has that look of a can of creamed corn. And then we're heading down to the skillet. And now we're back down here. If there's a lot of excess grease with your chorizo, then you want to strain it. If not, you're okay. And I just want to say this is my least favorite chorizo. My first and second choice, I just could not find. Just seemed everybody was out of it. So, because I wanted to bring this video to you while it's still corn season, I went with it. So to this, I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of butter and let that melt down. All right, now to that, I have a half a cup of diced red onions. And then I just did 1 poblano, and I diced that up, and I put it in a measuring cup. So I would say 1 cup of diced peppers, because you could do sweet red bell pepper if you wanted to lighten up on the spice a bit. You could do serranos. So really, you can kind of do the pepper of your choice. Poblano's just happened to be one of my favorites, so I went with the poblano. And then we're going to let this cook and let the onions and the pepper soften about 3 minutes. And next we're going to add 1 to 2 cloves of garlic minced up, depending on the size of your garlic. And we just want to give that a minute. One of the things I really love about this dish is it really comes together super quick, super easy. There's not a ton of ingredients, and ingredients are easily substituted as well. So it's a really great dish for the summertime. Now, once you give that garlic about a minute, then we're going to go in with our corn. And do you see how beautiful that turned out from being processed like that? And in we go. And now to that, we're going to add, I'm going to start with half a teaspoon of salt. Kosher salt, half a teaspoon. And then we're going to go a few rounds with our peppermilk. You probably want a good quarter of a teaspoon of pepper to maybe a half a teaspoon. We're going to add this, and then we can taste and add more if we need to. And now once you get this in your skillet, you want to give this about 5 minutes to cook. And then it's done. It's just that simple. So let's give this 5 minutes, and then I'll show you the end result. So if you want to know how to get a white neck and a really red face and chest, is you lay in the sun and read a book. That's how I accomplished this morning. So our 5 minutes are up. I've taken this off of the heat. And to that, I'm going to add a quarter of a cup of chopped cilantro. And I'm just going to leave a little bit of that in there for garnish. And we're going to stir that right up. Now, I think this is a great side dish to many, many things. Or you can just honestly just have a bowl of this. But today, I'm going to serve mine with some shrimp that I have coated with some Southwest seasoning and grilled. You know, I probably should taste this before we declare it done, just to see if it needs any more salt or anything. Nope, I think it's good. So what I'm going to do is top it with that shrimp. And this is how I'm going to serve it. So it's kind of, in a way, like a Southwestern shrimp and grits, if you will. So I hope you enjoyed it. I hope that this actually makes it this time, although Billy won't care if I have to make it a 4th time. But here you have it. Chorizo, buttermilk, creamed corn. Another great way to use that summertime fresh corn. Thanks for watching. I'll see y'all later. Bye.